Hey art friends, in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to draw a heart container from Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. And it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you're going to follow along with me. Now remember, the most important thing is to have fun and practice. Don't worry about making your drawing look exactly like mine. Just use mine as inspiration for your drawing. Now before we get started, let me show you the art supplies I'm going to use for this lesson. First, the paper I'm using is Canson marker paper. I love this brand because it works really well with alcohol-based markers, and that's the type of marker I'm using for this lesson. I'm actually using my Art for Kids Hub set. If you have the same marker set, you can use the same colors, the exact same colors that I'm using. I'm also using my Prismacolor colored pencils, and as we go through the lesson, I'll tell you what colors I'm using. We're first starting by drawing the general shape of our heart, and I'm going to use a colored pencil, and this color is mineral orange. Don't worry also about having that exact color. You can just pick maybe an orange, a dark orange color, or even a brown. Now first, let's draw the heart shape. I'm going to draw two guide points, one in the middle of my paper but towards the top, and another down here at the bottom. And this is where we'll start, and we'll draw the heart shape that comes out. So we're going to come out like this, we're going to curve around, and then back into the bottom. So we curve around like this, and then towards the bottom we just go straight into that other point. Then we're going to draw the other side, and we're going to try to make them match. We're going to concentrate. There we go. It's a little off center. I'm closer over here to the side of the paper than I am on this side. That's okay. We're just practicing. Don't worry about making it look perfect. So maybe on this heart, I'm going to draw the curve. I'm going to draw it steeper coming out of this point, so that the top of the heart is a little more round. Okay, there we go. There's the main shape of our heart. Now we're going to draw another smaller heart inside. So we're going to come straight down from here. We're going to draw another guide point, maybe about here, just using our eyes to guess and measure. So the next point maybe right here. We're going to draw another heart that's smaller. We're going to try to match the same roundness at the top, and then come around into a straight line down at the bottom. Now I'm pressing a little more hard than usual just because I want these lines to show up on the camera for you to see. But you guys at home can press lightly if you want. Now also, you don't have to start with a colored pencil. You can start with a regular pencil so that you can erase it better. So you can work on these lines. But I'm also not worried too much about making these lines look perfect. It's okay that we have these extra lines. Okay, now let's add some of the extra details in the design of the heart. We'll start inside, and we're going to draw another little guide point right here, and we're going to draw an upside down V right below the center of the heart. Then we're going to curve around from here, and we're going to get close to the outside edge. Then we're going to get thicker on the left side. So over here, this gets thicker, and it's thinner here. And then as we get down to the bottom, we're going to get thinner also. So we're going to come down to a point here. And let's do that same shape. We're going to get thin, and then further away or thicker on the outside, and then into the bottom point. And right here at the end, I'm going to curl this design so it has little hooks at the end, and then we'll come in again to connect the inside. There we go. There's the first design on our heart container. Now we're going to add even more designs around the outside. Let's first add another guide point. We're going to put it right here over the top of each side of the heart. Then we're going to start at this point. We're going to come up to the middle like this, and then we're going to come back down and connect to the other side. Now this is a little bit different than the video game heart container. I think I need to move this point up a little higher so we can get this steeper, so we can come up like this and have a bigger space. So I'm going to move, and if you want, you can erase your lines. We're just going to keep going though. So this, we're going to move the heart up a little higher in the center. There's no mistakes, right? When we're doing art and we're drawing, it's fun to change our drawings and get them just the way that we want. Okay, now right here at this guide point where we started, we're gonna curve up like this. We're gonna get kind of close to the outside, not too close. Then when we get about here, we're gonna come straight or diagonal down to the left and maybe stop about there. Let's see if we can draw that same shape on the other side. The heart is symmetrical. That means if we split it right down the middle, it'd be exactly the same on the other side. So let's try to mirror that. If you want, you could even fold your paper in half. Sometimes that helps make it more symmetrical. You can trace one design over to the other side. So after you get one side done, you can fold it and then trace it. I love this part of any drawing where you're just trying to sketch the lines in and get all of the shapes just the way you want them. Okay, now right here, let's add another guide point. We're gonna add it about here and here over on the other side. So now we're gonna draw another curl. Let's first start here. We're gonna curl around and almost touch the heart. So see right here, we almost touch the heart. We're gonna do that same curl here. But let's start here. We'll curve around and then we're gonna curve back up. And then we're gonna curve back like this into the original line, into the same line. That was kind of tricky. Let's do it again over here. We'll practice. Okay, we're gonna curve around like this. We're gonna try to match the same curve. We're gonna come around like this, up, and then we'll come back in. Oh, it's starting to look really cool. Okay, so I'm gonna darken in some of these lines so you can see them a little bit better. It's getting a little confusing with so many sketch lines in here. So I'm gonna darken them in. And we got this curve right here, and we got this curve. Okay, now we also have another detail right inside here. We're gonna curve into the shape and then back out. Let's do the same thing on the other side. We'll curve into the shape and then back out. Now I think on my heart, this side is, because there's more space here, this side is a little bit smaller. So we can also make that come out just a little further like this so that we have more room for all of those designs that we're drawing. There we go. So now we're gonna come out a little further. So all of these designs can get a little further or a little bigger maybe. It is getting messy, isn't it? That's okay. I like messy drawings. I think they're more fun. Here we go. And then we're gonna make this little design come back in. Cool. All right, that looks a little bit better. This is bigger than, and it kind of matches this side a little bit better. I think this shape right here comes over here. It came down more. So we could do that too. We're gonna use our markers and color over the colored pencils, so a lot of these lines will disappear. Okay, now let's start here, and we're gonna draw the other design, curving around like this, and then we're gonna curve back into the heart, and we're gonna connect to the heart right here. Let's do the same thing over here. We're gonna curve around this, and we're gonna curve back into the heart. Now we're going to come down to the bottom of our heart and we're going to add a little leaf shape. We're going to start here. We're going to curve around and match on the other side. So we have this kind of football or leaf shape right here at the bottom. Then we're going to start here and we're going to curve. We're going to get further away. Then we're going to come back up for a little zigzag right here, and then we're going to curve back and connect to the heart. Let's do the same thing on the other side. We'll curve down and get further away from the leaf shape. Then we'll curve back up for a little zigzag, and then we're going to come around and then back into the heart. Now remember, if you ever need extra time, you can always pause the video, especially during this part where you're trying to get all of the lines just the way that you want them. So if I'm going too fast and you need more time, just pause the video. You can even rewind the video if you need to see a step over again. Now I got all of the lines and curves just the way that I want them. We're gonna move on to the next step. And we're gonna start by blocking in the colors with our markers. The first color I'm going to use is 33. This is a gold yellow color. We're gonna color in this shape right here. Now, the inside of the heart is red and the outside design is kind of this gold yellow color. So the highlight, or the part where it's really shiny, is this yellow color. So we'll first put this down, and I'm just gonna color in blocks of color. So we're not worrying about making it look too detailed right now. We're just gonna get the main shapes of the colors. Added yellow over here and here. We also have yellow on each of the little edges of the design. Now we're ready to switch to our next color. I'm using 100. This is a gold brown color, and we're gonna color in pretty much everything else except for the red shapes. When I'm using alcohol-based markers, to get the color nice and even, I try to saturate the paper with a lot of ink. Now, this is another reason why it's good to use marker paper, because if you're using regular paper, then the marker it goes through, it'll bleed through your paper and get onto your table. And also, regular paper usually doesn't hold up if you put this much marker down. And it just gets soggy. The paper gets soggy and it'll start ripping, and it's not good. So I love this paper again. It's my favorite because it holds up. It's almost like painting because you're using so much of the ink when you're coloring. And then you want to color while you're moving through your drawing. You want to make sure that you get the paper really wet with the ink, but that also helps so that as you're moving across your drawing, it's staying even because the ink is really wet. If you do let your ink dry on the paper and then you go back over it, it's gonna look darker. So it's a little darker right here, kind of layered, because I let it dry before I moved on, or I came back to it after I moved on. So we're gonna keep going all the way around. We're gonna color in using this 100 gold brown color. I'm using my 11 red. This is really bright. We're gonna block in most of the red shapes now. I got a little carried away and I forgot the highlight over here. I was gonna use a lighter pink color for the highlight, the shiny part on the heart. But we can go back over it with our white colored pencil to lighten up the red. We'll do that later though. Let's switch to a darker red. I'm using number 15, and we're gonna add a little shadow on the inside. So we're just gonna try to make the heart look more round or 3D. So we're gonna draw this shape. We're gonna add, now this might not be dark enough. We might need to add a darker red. Let's try 5, number 5. So we're gonna add this. Yeah, there we go. That's better. So we're gonna add this shadow coming down through the designs, but it's gonna follow the outside shape of the heart. Now it's really starting to look more 3D or round. Let's also darken in the gold color. And for this, I'm gonna use a really dark brown. This is number 92. And we're gonna start over here and we're gonna add the shadow. I'm gonna start right here on the edge, and we're gonna darken. This is gonna look crazy. We're gonna add a lot more contrast to the heart. And contrast means dark spots and also light spots. So we're gonna add this shadow, or the reflection actually. This is a dark reflection in the gold. So we're gonna come down. We're gonna try to keep that same shape going across our heart. I went crazy adding all of these dark reflections. This step was a lot of fun. So you can pause the video right now to match all of these same shapes. Now I tried to add that reflection down here at the bottom, But we're also, remember to keep these little highlights, the yellow highlights that we first added. Then also we're adding the dark reflection on the opposite side of the bright highlight. So you have the yellow highlight on this side where the light is reflecting onto it. And then you have the dark shadows or the reflections on the opposite side. So see how this side right here is dark, and then on the other side it's bright and it's the yellow color. It's looking really cool, and we haven't even done that much stuff to it. I kind of noticed that I missed a little spot right here. I'm gonna go back in with the yellow and color in some of the little spots that I missed. Remember the highlight that we missed on the red? I wish I would have left it white and we could have colored it pink, but we're gonna use our white colored pencil to add that highlight back in. And I'm gonna try to make it look as smooth as possible. So I'm using the edge of my white colored pencil. This is Prisma colored pencil. And we're gonna try to get that highlight back in. Next, I'm gonna add a highlight right here down the middle of our heart. And we're gonna draw a shape that comes up through here and then connects back to the gold. So we're gonna add a little highlight here and then also color this in. We're almost done. It looks really cool. Let's do one more thing. I have my dark umber. This is a really dark brown colored pencil. And I'm gonna use this to add little details or make the lines a little sharper. So right here, see how the marker was kind of, wasn't very sharp. We can use this to add thin lines. Because the marker, the tip on the marker is kind of big, it's hard to add those really fine lines. So I'm gonna go around and add these darker lines all the way around the heart. And we did it, we finished drawing our heart container. It turned out super cool. And I hope that you guys pause the video and take extra time to finish your drawings. You can use mine as inspiration. And I really love how this colored pencil at the very end, the dark brown, adds those sharper lines to make it look more crisp and just completes the drawing. I love how we only used a few colored pencils, our white, our light brown, and our dark brown. Then we also only used a few markers, our yellow, gold, and also the dark brown. Oh, and don't forget the red. But it's pretty awesome to only use a few art supplies and you can get a really cool drawing. Now remember, don't worry about making your drawing look exactly like mine. I'm sure your drawings turned out super awesome, even though they look different. Remember, the most important thing is to have fun and to practice. I promise the second time you do this drawing, it'll turn out even better than the first time. I hope you had a lot of fun following along with me and drawing your own heart container. Be sure to leave a comment below this video and let me know what we should draw next. And we'll see you later, our friends. Goodbye.